How you start your website should be like how you start your day. I like to start with a fresh shave and a filtered shower. Then I'll prepare a fresh cup of Brita water to heat it up.
He's heating up.
Before I get a scoop or two of fresh ground coffee. I'll pour in the hot water into my French press. Then I'll let it brew, and this is where you gotta be patient, y'all. So in the meantime, I'll continue preparing by adding almond milk because the regular milk just don't do the body good, if you know what I mean. Let's top it off with a little bit of that sugar, and yes, I said sugar, right before we press that launch button. And now it's time for blast off. Let's go! Woo! Oh yeah, and don't forget to stir it up some to blend in those flavors.
He's on fire.
And that's how we start fresh on WordPress.
He's on fire.
Welcome to lesson 4. In this lesson, we're going to discuss building out pages using the WordPress editor or Gutenberg. We're not talking about a third-party page builder. We're talking about using the native way of building out pages with WordPress, although I am going to show you using core blocks, the native blocks of WordPress, and using third-party blocks. Either way, we're talking about building out web pages with the WordPress editor. That's the key here. That's the key. So let's start off with some preliminary things here. Right now, I am using the 2024 theme. I have this activated. In the previous lesson, you can go back there and see the difference between the two, the 2024 theme and a theme that is a classic or traditional theme like Kadence. But right now, I'm just letting you know I'm using the 2024 theme, and I'm going to flip the switch over to Kadence once we get to that part. Let me go to plugins, and I saved this for this video, so that way you can see me install the plugin. But I'm going to install Kadence blocks. I want to have that handy and ready. So I'm just going to install it here. This is a third-party block plugin that gives you more functionality outside of the core blocks that WordPress comes with out the box. I'm not going to activate it yet. I'm going to leave it unactivated so you can see I have only Kadence blocks as a plugin installed on this website, and I'm using the 2024 theme that's currently activated. So let's go to pages, and I'm going to go to add new. And let's go over to the new page. So this is something that you'll notice when you have a block-based theme activated. I'm not sure if this is any kind of block-based theme or if it's only WordPress's 2024 or something like that. But I noticed when I open up a page, this pops up. And I've opened up a page before, so it's interesting that this pops up either way. You can always exit out of this because we don't need to choose the pattern right now, even though you could if you want to. And we'll get there in a second, but let's slow our roll, okay? We need to slow our roll. So what we want to do here is just look at some basic things. I'm going to click this toggle block inserter or this plus button here with this blue background. And we can see we have 3 different sections. We have 3 different menu items. We have 3 different toggles, whatever you want to call them. But we have 3 different things here. We have blocks, we have patterns, and we have media, okay? So with blocks, we can see that we have blocks based on different categories. I like that because it helps us compartmentalize what's going on here so we don't think it's just a whole bunch of spaghetti being thrown on the wall. Even though there are some people that try to call WordPress that, and it ain't true, those myths have been dispelled and debunked multiple times. However, I like things that are organized and compartmentalized. So we see we have these text blocks here, we have media blocks here, design blocks, we have some widgets, we have some theme-based blocks. We have embeds. And there we go. As Lil Wayne would say, the block is hot. All right, so we have these different blocks here. And with WordPress, what I love about the WordPress editor, because it didn't used to always be this way, that's why we start on fresh, we can easily drag and drop. Now, when you drag anything, you'll notice that there's a little blue blue line there that's letting you know where things are gonna go. So if I click here, boom, right underneath it. What is kind of cool because we are using right now, and as a matter of fact, we're gonna double check so we know for sure. I'm going to the dashboard. We're using WordPress 6.6.1 currently with this video. 6.6.1. Not too long ago, it was a different experience. So this is even a new experience when it comes to the way we drag and drop in the interface and what things look like. And, you know, I'm getting used to it. There was a lot of positive things I really liked about this. And there's some things that, you know, they gotta work their way up to my liking. However, let's go back up here to heading, put one above, boom. We have a heading there. Go to table, I could put it, let's see. I'm purposely just adding things in random places just so the people who don't know about how this works, they can get an idea, because there's just so much controversy around WordPress being hard in terms of building out a page. Now, I know it could be a little different, but being hard, I mean, this is the same thing Squarespace and Wix is doing. Boom. All right, I just drag and drop. And you don't even have to drag and drop. I can literally go here and just like click, and there it goes. I can drag and drop, or I can click. Either way, I don't even have to drag and drop or click. I can go here and I can add it from here as well too. So they give you multiple ways to add blocks to your page. I think that's awesome, and it's something that shouldn't be overlooked. So that's one thing. Keep in mind, again, I'm using the core blocks of WordPress. I'm using the native blocks. You don't see anything else here. You don't see Kadence, because remember I said I added Kadence here. You don't see Kadence. So that's something key for you to know. Now, if I wanted to undo some things, I can always undo this right here. Boom, 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 boom. I love that about WordPress as well too, to be able to undo things. So that's key right there. And then let's click over here. If I wanted to see the block settings, like, so if I click a block, and while I have this open, let's click the list. Let's go over here. Let's click the document overview, and then we have the list view. And so now, as you can see, depending on where I click at, the settings change over here. This is something that I love as well too, because it just makes it so much easier for you all to see what's going on. Where am I at? Well, click the document overview. Now you have the list view. Now, this outline is dope. It's really cool when you're using the core native blocks of WordPress. As far as I know right now, they don't necessarily have it compatible or completely compatible with third-party block plugins. So when you're like, okay, you know you have 1,000 characters or 500 words on the page or whatever the case is, you got your H1s, your H2s, but you're using something else, but you don't see nothing here. That's why, because you're not using the core blocks of WordPress. So you just got to keep that in mind. So for instance, if I added the, let's go back and add the calendar here. And now we have calendar settings. If I click here, list view, calendar, boom. So you see how I can easily just navigate, and you can also move these. I like that. Hey, Mikey, I think he likes it. I think that a lot of people who don't know WordPress or aren't used to WordPress, they think otherwise. They think that WordPress doesn't have its capability, and it does. You're seeing it right here. That makes a big difference, y'all. When it comes to saving the draft, saving this page, I can save the draft, I can publish it. If I want to view different screen sizes, I can see them right here for responsiveness. And then we have our options over here, where if you wanted to have a distraction free or you want a spotlight mode, you can do all this stuff. We'll get deeper into that a little later in the official course, but I'm just letting you all know that's key. Something that I think a lot of people be sleeping on, I'm just going to drop you off the gym now. Copy all blocks. What I love about WordPress is you can copy everything and then you can paste it on another page. A lot of people don't know that, that you can do that very, very easily. So that's something that you might want to think about when you're making your pages, that you can copy all the blocks and you can paste it somewhere else. And then here we have preferences. If you wanted to adjust some preferences on the page, and they'll stick this way. So when you open up another page or you do another page, it'll still be this way. The setting will still be there. You can also do that as well. So just keep that in mind, that you can even decide whether or not you want blocks to even show on this side. So if I said I don't want no media to show, because, you know, sometimes y'all don't want the media to show up at the party, or you don't want the media, you know, as they say, TMZ. You don't want TMZ showing up everywhere. They catch you off guard. So I'm going to undo that. There is no save. There is no save. So I'm going to click that. Let's go back to the blocks. Do we see media in here? No, we don't. Media's gone. So that's one way you can hide things that you don't believe you need or you won't use easily by untoggling it, the whole category or the whole section or a block at a time. Very, very helpful, y'all. Very, very helpful. That is, we have the block inserter. We have the blocks here. Then here we have patterns. So if you want to use patterns that come from the theme, you can use patterns as well too. If I click this, look at that. Look at that. Look at how fast that was. Boom. Patterns are templates. I know they're called patterns, but they're still templates. So just keep that in mind. And then with WordPress, they have the open verse, which gives you access to copyright-free images. They're still working on this. There's still some kind of regulation behind this. So in my opinion, I still would use something like a Pexels or a Pixabay or Canva, et cetera, et cetera. But this is cool if you just want to stay in here in WordPress. It's all good. It's all good in the neighborhood. And there you go. So this is pretty much the WordPress editor, aka Gutenberg. If I go here and I wanted to move things around, so if I want to move things around here, we have this, we have this, we have this, we have this. We have this whole section here. Let's put this at the top. Now we got the section at the top. Let's bring it down to the bottom. Now we got it at the bottom. I mean, that's drag and drop. So I don't know where people be getting this whole WordPress ain't drag and drop friendly thing. We got to kill that vibe. We got to kill that notion, y'all, because that ain't true. It ain't true at all. All right, so let's get out of here. I'm going to leave this. Now, I could save it as a draft or publish it, but you know, we don't even need to do all that. I'm going to just get out of here. The cool thing, though, is if you stay in there long enough, it's going to save as a draft itself. So if I go back to edit, look, y'all, it's here. It's here. So I would save as a draft when need be, but just know that WordPress does have an auto save feature. You just got to be careful with it. Okay? Just keep that in mind. So let's go back to plugins here, install plugins, and let's activate Kadence blocks. Now we're only going to activate Kadence blocks. We're not going to activate the theme because I want you to see the difference between the two. So I'm going to go back to pages. I'm going to add a new page. Now we have Kadence blocks on here. And with Kadence blocks, it adds more functionality to WordPress. It adds more functionality to Gutenberg because these blocks that WordPress makes natively, they're good, but sometimes they lack some functionality that would have you have to make up for that functionality using code. We don't have time for that. So that's why blocks like Spectra, Kadence, and there are many, many more. I'll add them in the description if y'all want some, or we can put them in the comment section. But when you use these blocks, it just gives you so much more functionality. So for instance, the text block right here, if I open up my block here, the settings, my block settings here, not the page, but the block, you can see I have all these settings here for text. If I go back and I go to text here, paragraph, they don't call it text, they call it paragraph. Notice how they separate paragraph from heading, whereas Kadence, it's all the same. You have a few settings here. So that's one key thing to note why you may want to add a third-party plugin to your website instead of just using the core blocks by themselves is because you'll get more settings, which means you'll have to do less coding or you'll have less limitations. I mean, that's just the key way to say it. But that's it. I'm not going to go over too deep on the blocks or what blocks you should use. We're going to save that for later, but I just want to let you know that is a difference. That is a key difference too. Also, notice how if I click on this button here, we have some color palette settings. We have block visibility, block editor, default editor block, import, export, reset. So we get some new functionality that came from Kadence plugin just by installing and activating the plugin. We have some new functionality just in general on how we use our blocks. They call them Kadence blocks controls. I love that. We also have now access to a design library, which is also templates from Kadence. And they also call them patterns. So they have patterns and they have full pages, which is cool. You can use both the patterns from Kadence right here, and then you can also use the patterns from the theme, 2024 theme or whatever theme you're using right here. Explore all patterns. You have the best of both worlds. That's pretty cool. So it's just something for you to notate when you're building out your pages that depending on what third-party block plugin you're using, you might have some type of design library. They call it different things, but you'll have some type of template option up here. I don't know if you have like 5 different plugins on your site that have blocks. I would advise you use only up to 2 external third-party block plugins. But if you have a whole bunch, what happens up here? I ain't gonna test that theory right now, but I'm just curious. Does anybody know? Let me know. Either way, we have patterns here and we have some patterns in here that come from the plugin. And if you're feeling froggy and you want to leap, you can use Kadence AI, but that's a different topic for another day. We ain't there yet, y'all. We are not there yet. All right, so let me get out of here because I just showed y'all some things. And now let me add the Kadence theme. So I'm going to activate the theme. And now we have Kadence blocks activated and Kadence theme activated. Now let's go back to pages. I'm going to add a new page again, and let's see if the experience changes a little bit. Again, we're still in Gutenberg. That don't change. We are still in Gutenberg. We still have Kadence blocks here. But now we have a new icon. We have a new page settings. We have a new option here, right here, page settings. This comes from Kadence theme. There are a lot of people that get confused sometimes. And I know I've gotten confused in the past. So that's why I'm explaining to y'all right now what it is, because of the fact that now we can control our theme and how our theme looks right here on the page. We can control the page layout, the title, transparent header, disable the footer, or header, enable the footer, the list goes on. That's all right here, the page settings, but this right here is for Kadence blocks. So just know that this is for Kadence theme, this is for Kadence blocks. This is WordPress in general. You're gonna see this no matter what in WordPress, but these two are based on Kadence. You won't see these if you don't have Kadence on your website or whatever theme or block plugin you're using. They may add their settings here as well too. Controls or settings, whatever you want to call them, it's all the same. Let's see if I click this, does anything change? So we have Kadence blocks controls, page settings. It's going to open up, it's going to do the same thing. So whether you click it here or you click it there, it's going to do the same thing, y'all. So it's just something for you to notate, something for you to keep in mind. And hopefully you got something out of this video. Just, some introductory stuff on the difference between using the core blocks, third-party blocks, and then what happens if you use some type of traditional or classic theme versus using a full site editing theme. What is that difference? What is the experience? My name is Maestro Stevens with Iconic Templates, and I'm out. Peace.